Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Comic Book Users. Welcome to another episode of the show. Today we're going to take a look at the complete run of a series originally known as Fear, but then morphed into a book called Adventure into Fear. And this is a series that ran 31 issues. I recently just completed the entire run in this series, which I'm pretty happy about. So I think, at this point, I think it's always kind of cool to show off an entire series once you've completed it. And just kind of like go and revisit. So this started in 1970 and originally was just another vehicle for reprints of old horror, sci-fi, and monster stories from the 50s and 60s by Marvel, right? They had lots of different series that kind of did this because they published a lot of stories and comics back in the 50s and the early 60s that were in that vein, right? Giant monsters and horror and supernatural and sci-fi stories, right? So why not just keep reprinting those? Because people were still interested in that sort of thing. So of course they released back in 1970 the debut issue, which is number one, just called Fear. And again, you got Jack Kirby, guys like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, and lots of other artists who were working on these particular stories. Don Heck as well. You got Joe Sinnott, Paul Ryman also working on some of these. You got Gil Kane helps out with some of the covers and things. So, but yeah, with issue number one, again, another giant swamp creature. I found Monstrum, the Dweller in the Black Swamp. All right, so that's the first issue here. And then issue number two is X, the Thing That Lived. So here we got giant monsters, kind of sci-fi. Of course, that's a Jack Kirby cover, right? Damn right it is. Of course, got the My Comic Shop sticker all over these. And these were, at the time, 25 cents because these were like double issues. So they packed lots of things into, lots of stories into these, which is great for us now, right? Back then we were probably thinking 25 cents. Wow, what about the normal 15 cent or 12 cent, right? But now it's like you look back and it's like more monsters, giant monsters for your bang for your buck, right? Or for your quarter. Zootak, the Thing That Shouldn't Exist. More giant monster mashups there from Jack Kirby. In issue number 4, you got 2 on the cover here. Lokar, as well as the Martian, giant Martian. Got a little rip down there for issue number 4. Here, issue number 5, and again, this goes back to all the really cheesy, turn into Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, or the Ape type of movies and stuff from the 40s and 50s and 30s as well. Cheesy but fun. I Am the Gorilla Man. More Jack Kirby artwork there. Here, I believe this is Gil Kane, issue number 6. So here we got 7 stories in this one. Brain Behind the Fangs, The Last Laugh, right? Nothing Can Kill the Midnight Monster, issue number 6. And issue number 7, I believe this is also a Gil Kane cover. I Dream of Doom. There's a monster behind that screen waiting to kill me. Oh no! And as you can see, these are now back down to single thickness issued, right? So now this is when comics turn 20 cents, so they're no longer the double issues anymore. Here we got issue number 8. Always love this cover. This is a Marie Severin cover. It Crawls by Night. It's kind of like Tree Creature, right? Very cool. And then I believe, is this a Gil Kane? This might be a Gil Kane cover as well, issue number 9. So this is the last issue of the book called Fear, right? They decided to change the name, and with issue number 10, they decided to reintroduce a character, a horror character that debuted in Savage Tales number 1, the black and white magazine, and they retitled the series Adventure into Fear, and giving Man-Thing his own book now. So here you got classic covers on these, drawn by all sorts of different people. I'm trying to remember exactly who drew some of these here. Let's see. I know Steve Gerber worked on a lot of these going forward. Steve, of course, was synonymous with Man-Thing and both Man-Thing and Howard the Duck. So here you have the first official issue featuring the Man-Thing. Right, it's a noteworthy book right there. Here we got number 2, which is number 11. And these are great stories. Just, the swamp monster, fear burns at the touch of the Man-Thing, right? He's got this empathic nature, right? Always love Man-Thing. One of my favorite characters. And here is issue number 12. I'm trying to remember, was this a Jim Starlin cover? Yeah, I don't remember. I know Jim worked on did one of these covers, I believe. Issue number 14 coming up. And most of these I bought off the racks when I was a young kid. Hadn't got my 50 cents allowance, right? I had to go every week and just buy like a comic book or two, usually about 2. Plague of the Demon Cult, issue number 14. And I always love this one, issue number 15. This one I did not buy off the rack. I bought this later on. Lord of the Dark Domain. Here's issue number 16. And then this is another good one here, where he goes up against Wondar. Wondar was kind of like this interesting hero who had like the mind of a child, but in this adult body. So that's a fun one. And then this was always one of my favorite covers. I believe this is a John Romita Sr. cover, issue number 18. Bought this off the rack back in the day as well. That's a good one. Man-Thing looming in the background, car crash out in the swamp. And then here, a very notable issue, because this, of course, is the debut. It's the last issue with Man-Thing, but the debut of the Howard the Duck character, issue number 19. Okay, so this would launch. So now after this issue, they would go and give Man-Thing his own comic. That would start with Man-Thing number 1. Howard the Duck gets introduced. Howard the Duck would again show up, after this little storyline, he would show up in Giant-Sized Man-Thing, I believe, number 1. They would give him a story there, and maybe even number 2, if I remember correctly. But then they would eventually give Howard the Duck his own book as well. So now that Man-Thing has been retired from Adventure into Fear, off into his own series, with issue number 20, we've got Morbius, the Living Vampire. Of course, not a vampire in the traditional sense. He had a serious blood disorder, and scientifically was transformed into a vampire, not by being bitten by another vampire, but so science created this vampire. And he has a conscience, right? Hates what he's become, but he's living now. And I'm trying to remember if it's this issue or this issue, one of these two issues drawn by the great Paul Gulacy, who, of course, went on to great things in the Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu comic. Did just the one issue of Morbius. Well, I wish he would have done more, because for me, some of these issues of Morbius the stories are really good, but Frank Robbins, they've decided to throw Frank Robbins on a bunch of these issues, and you know me and Frank Robbins. I've grown to kind of I don't mind him as much in the Invaders comic. I still don't think his art was great, but I don't like him doing horror stuff, and I think that he was just a absolutely wrong choice to do Morbius, the Living Vampire. But here's issue number 21. Pretty cool cover there. And issue number 22, I believe this is a Gil Kane cover, if I'm not mistaken. Morbius, very cool character, cool costume, but they just, for whatever reason, he got saddled up with artists who I think really just didn't get the character. I think Morbius looked great, like those issue number 101, 102 of Spider-Man. I'm getting my numbers correctly. When he first debuted in Spider-Man, I thought he looked great. I think that was like Gil Kane who drew him originally. But some of these other guys just did not really get it. Issue number 23. Here's a good one, and I love this cover. And here, this is how Morbius should look. This is issue number 24 with Blade, the Vampire Slayer, and this is a Gil Kane cover. So there, once again, Gil Kane seems to get the Morbius character, which I think some of these other artists just did not. Issue number 25. And it's most of it, the issues I have with some artists is like sometimes the face and the hair just look really off. And here's issue number 26. Again, still battling the Caretaker. And, you know, the sad truth is that through all these issues, so we see Morbius is in a lot of these, sales are just not where they were. And I think it's really interesting to go back and read some of these and go through like the letters page and to read what a lot of the fans are writing in. A lot of people just had a lot of issue with the artwork and the storylines after a first couple strong initial issues and people remembering the character fondly from Spider-Man. Once they launched him in Adventure into Fear, something after a couple issues, something just wasn't clicking. And so, like, the Marvel staff was just kind of like, you know, taking and printing all these letters of people who were unhappy with the direction of the comic and, you know, hoping for more feedback, and the sales just were not going. This is a great cover. Again, this is a Gil Kane cover. Gil gets the concept of Morbius. I think that's the way Morbius is supposed to look. Then we have issue 29. Put those away. Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, missing the couple of issues that I just picked up. Where did I put those? Right here. I didn't put them away yet. Here we go. All right, so where did I leave off? So 27. Here's 28. Okay, again, Gil Kane cover there. This is an interesting storyline here. But again, you know, the Frank Robbins, I'm going to open it up and show you. Then here's issue number 30. And then issue number 31, which is the final issue. So I'm going to open it up and show you why Frank Robbins is not a good choice for this comic. Actually, this is George Evans. So here, George Evans, I think, was a better choice than Frank Robbins. Still not great, but not terrible by any means. Again, the face, even the coloring is kind of awful. They make him look very gray, but just the face, the hair. I mean, I get it. He's probably a difficult character to draw. All right, so that's not bad, but let me get you, I'm going to open up one that's got Mr. Robbins on the artwork. And then maybe I'll go back and open up one of the Galassi ones. All right, here we go. Frank Robbins. It's just very, very comic strippy. Very goofy, exaggerated facial expressions. You know, these big giant eyes and, you know, the poofy hair. The weird symmetrical nature of the arms and legs. Just, you know, this is supposed to be a horror comic. And there's nothing horrific about this. You know, maybe works to an extent in The Invaders. And I had the same criticisms when he was doing the Baron Blood character in The Invaders. It's just like, this is supposed to be a horrific character, you know, a horror character, and it looks comical. It looks more funny than anything else. So here you can see all these weird. I mean, look at the arms and the legs, the way they're bent and stuff. It just doesn't make any sense at all. So for me, it just doesn't work. Right, you know, look. Like, what is that supposed to be? It's, honestly looks more like a bat than a person who is a, you know, kind of a vampire. So, yeah. But let me go grab the the Galacy one. Hold on. Let's go back here. So trying to remember if it was the first or the second, but I'll open them both so we can take a look together here. All right, so issue number 20. Yeah, so this is Paul Galacy. So right off the bat, you know, Paul's got this kind of like Jim Steranko type of thing going on here, because I thought Paul, to me, always seemed like an extension of what Jim Steranko did. Both of them have very, very similar traits to their artwork. And this, you know, with all the shading and the darkness, shadows, this looks like a horror comic, which is what it's supposed to be. You know, Paul Galacy was a master of doing that sort of thing. Look at this. This is good artwork. And even though it looks like Paul's there's still some issues with the way the face is drawn. To me, it makes him look more menacing. And it's a shame they didn't keep Paul on this comic a little bit longer. And I get it. Maybe just overall, this is a hard character to draw. Because to me, I think Gil Kane is the guy who got it the best. Let me pop one more open and see if we can, let me look at issue number 21 and see if that's any different. This is, so here we have Gil Kane. All right, so here we go. To me, this is the guy who should be drawn, Michael Morbius. That's the guy. As much as I like the Galacy artwork too, I think that when you talk about the person who understood this character, because he was one of the creators of the character, I think that he's the guy. He's the guy. He just captures to me, it's all about how the face is drawn, the eyes and the hair, and I think he's got it. And it's a shame they didn't keep Gil on the cool splash page. That they didn't keep Gil on this series, because I think he's just a better overall choice. I know Gil was, kind of doing everything at the time and doing so many covers, and he did most of the covers in this series, but I think he was just, as compared to Frank Robbins, I just think that he was the guy who should have been on this. But, hey, it's a long time ago. Things change, right? So anyway, that's Adventures into Fear. Real quick, maybe you guys want me, I'll open up... Let's open up issue number 19, which is the debut of Howard the Duck, because I think that's always cool to look at. And like I said, this is a much sought-after book these days. This, of course, is a key. Happy to have had this in my collection for as long as I have. And this here, so Steve Gerber and Val Mayerik. Val Mayerik, of course, did a lot of the art on a lot of these Man-Thing comics. All right, let's get to the debut of the man, the Duck himself. It's coming. So I'm going to show you a little bit more. Trying to slice Man-Thing down with a sword. Yeah, that's not going to work. There we go. There is Howard, right down below. Well, climb up, bud. You don't even know the meaning of the word. You hairless apes. So anyway, that would be the last issue of Adventure into Fear with Man-Thing. So anyway, hope you like this little kind of trip down memory lane with a very cool series, Adventure into Fear. Morphed from Fear to Adventure into Fear. Lots of cool stuff, lots of monsters, lots of cool horror characters. Let us know your memories of some of these issues. Do you have them all? Do you have holes in your collection? Is there some you're looking to get? I would strongly recommend this series if you haven't dumped into it as of yet. And all these are pretty readily available out there, so you should be able to find them. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, if you want to get a Comic Book Geezers t-shirt so you can show off your appreciation for the channel out there in the wild and turn other people onto comic book users who love comics, that link is down below. And we thank you in advance for all your support. We'll see you soon here on Comic Book Users. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.